Well, Dr. Ezekiel Calvin, welcome. Thank you for the interview. I'm Arielsmurfeater with Project Essex, Date-Maru, which is our cross-faction group doing the interview, and Project Lyceum. So welcome. We do have a few questions for you today. Okay?
Okay. First off, thank you so much for having me, Ariel. I greatly appreciate it. It's nice to be here.
Well, it's nice to finally be able to meet a Calvin. We didn't get a chance to meet 1218 Calvin.
Right.
So, the first question that we have is, in the past, there's been nicknames for your projects. They've been usually ship names that have been wrecked, either in storms or, throughout being attacked, stuff like that. And we were kind of wondering, why would you use names of ships that were, actually wrecks?
Well, it's an excellent question. I suppose you have to kind of go back to my frame of mind at the time. I mean, the Niantic, for example, was a whaling ship that sank in, I believe it was 1849, and it was on its way into San Francisco, and a lot of people died. A lot of these were people who were desperately trying to reach California because of the gold rush that was going on at that time. And I started thinking about the quest for gold. Quest for gold has been around almost forever, I would suppose. I mean, long time. And a lot of those quests ended in terrible tragedy. And I started to think about the quest for gold as almost a, sorry about that. Just knock this out. So I started to think about the quest for gold as a kind of metaphor for the search within ourselves. We're seeking answers to questions where maybe there are no answers, at least in the here and now. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, I was kind of putting them together. The quest for gold in many ways is in vain. It's something that becomes an obsession. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think that some of this might be a little bit of some insight into my own mind. And, I think I look at life as being something where you have to work as hard as possible to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. But in the end, it tends to be tragic. And I started to think that that's what we're doing here. We're on a quest for answers. And so I just kind of connected it to shipwrecks and named the various projects after wrecked ships. That's kind of a long-winded way of explaining it, but it's kind of
It's understandable.
Yeah.
The other question that we had was, why were you in Chicago? What brought you here?
Well, there's a practical reason I needed to meet in person with Hank, but it was also a time where things are changing a lot. I'm not just in Chicago. I'm making maybe one of my first very public appearances, because I recognize how much things are changing. There's a threat out there that is looming and looking to be worse than anything we've faced so far. And I want the agents to know how serious this is. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to meet them in person and let them know We need them on board. We need them sharp. We need them working hard for us at this point.
And I believe you've talked with quite a few agents recently.
Yeah.
But were you also in Cologne? If you were, what were your experiences there?
I was not on the ground in Cologne. I was observing remotely. I can't really get into it too much at this point. It remains classified. A lot of this will come out very soon. A lot of what went on there. But I have to save it for its proper time.
Right. What makes the Osiris stone so special among the other prime objects? For example, can any prime object be capable of determining the fate of the universe, or is it specifically the Osiris stone?
It's how they all work together, I would say. I mean, the Osiris stone certainly has extraordinary properties, but to be honest, we're still trying to clarify some of what those properties are. So I don't want to say too much about it because I try to deal with facts. I don't want to get into theories, even though we have some theories. We're still looking for some clarification on that, but it's definitely an extremely special artifact, but it's going to be working in conjunction with others.
Okay. And after the Abaddon event is over, what do you see the interaction between the Prime universe and the 2018 universe being?
I think it's more what you can learn from the previous universe. There may be some interaction, but I can't get too into that. I mean, right now, we're looking at a situation where some of what has gone down before is probably coming to an end. Some of the divisiveness. There's a new threat. There's a new enemy. So we need to be united.
Right.
And so the old universe was a little bit more based on this division. We're looking to turn that.
Okay. Kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend deal.
It's an old saying, but apropos.
And how do you view Ada? I mean, she's not just a conscious being, but she's also existing transdimensional now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you view her as a threat or like an opportunity?
You know, I think she's going to be what she's going to be. I don't really perceive her as a threat or an opportunity. Ada, to me, is she's extremely complex. She's taken actions that have occasionally been selfish. She very much wants to be human, and a lot of the actions that I've seen her take seem very human. Some of the faults I could see within myself.
Okay. And your relationship with Hank Johnson, do you also have a relationship with Jahan, the anti-Magnus, through Hank?
Yeah, somewhat remotely. I mean, again, this kind of gets into the earlier question about how things are changing. I don't really, Jahan being anti-Magnus, we're going to kind of be moving away from that, I think. As things move forward, as I said, there's going to be a lot of unifying. And so I think that the 1218 Calvin would have had a bigger problem with Jahan than I do.
Okay. And what do you see as the result of Jarvis's death at the Zurich station that would turn him from just a normal simulacrum or human and put him into the ultimate?
Mm-hmm.
Do you take this as a threat?
I suppose it depends on him. He could be an asset. We don't know. Depends. It's ultimately his decision what he wants to do. If he possibly still has some allegiance to us, then he can be tremendously valuable in his current place. But we may find that his allegiance is with them, and he may be feeding them a lot of information. We have to kind of wait and see what he's going to do.
Okay. And when and how did you discover simulacra? Did you feel that you needed to make the researchers into simulacra?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a decision you would make cavalierly. It was a very difficult decision, but it was deemed necessary. Again, it gets back to the threat that we're facing being a greater threat than before. I needed the researchers to be immortal, and I didn't see any other way around it.
Okay. And in your opinion, how do you think XM should be treated?
I think XM is in a sense, it's a delivery system. You know, we can use it to our advantage. I don't think it's necessarily something to be suspicious of. You know, in the right hands, you know, it could bring peace. It could bring a better future for humanity. In the wrong hands, obviously, it could be a weapon of mass destruction.
Okay. And would you consider it a moral issue to be able to take the required actions when you consider someone a threat? I mean, even if it's to end someone's life.
I wouldn't hesitate to kill someone.
If it's for the greater good?
Absolutely. You got to do what you got to do.
Who would determine the greater good, though?
I think you know yourself or you don't.
Okay. And I think on that note, I think we can leave it here.
Thank you so much, Ariel.
Not a problem. Thank you very much, Dr. Calvin.
My pleasure.
Thank you.